You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. We've talked a good bit here throughout fall camp. Very appreciative to Brian Kelly for the access he's allowed the media, not only allowing us to watch practice, but also to talk to the coordinators. Last week, we spoke to Mike Denbrock. Today, Matt House visited with the media for about 15 minutes right now. And there were, I think, some interesting takeaways. A lot of coach speak, as you would expect when you go through a press conference. But by and large, I think some of the position battles that we've looked at and really focused on a lot here in fall camp, and maybe just the multiplicity and how this defense is going to look, starts to become a little clearer the more we see and the more these coaches talk about it. But first things first, Matt House likes what he's seen so far from his defense in fall camp.
I'm pleased with the approach our guys have taken in camp. There's been great competition between the offense and the defense back and forth and within the position groups. I think we're steadily developing the right mentality and the right focus and approach. And I'm excited to put the ball down again tomorrow and see where we're at again.
So tomorrow, LSU will practice. According to our media schedule, Saturday is supposed to be in Tiger Stadium. So there have been a couple that were supposed to be there as well, and they've moved it to the practice facility. Whatever they elect to do, they elect to do. It may very well just be that the crews are getting the field, like the playing surface, ready to play football here in less than a month. So I don't know. I guess we could find out, but whatever. They're basically supposed to practice again tomorrow in Tiger Stadium and have some scrimmage formats. And the media is invited to watch about 30 minutes of practice on Saturday. Then Tuesday is listed as another scrimmage where we should get more access to the full practice. But the more we see, we also see position battles and heavy rotation in two positions in particular defensively. And we've talked about it. It's cornerback and it's at linebacker, where we've seen almost this free-flowing of rotation, where it doesn't matter. You can always tell when the first unit is on the field by the defensive line. When you see 0 and 99 and 11 and 18, okay, you know that's the first group. But so often we see different numbers at linebacker and at corner, which suggests there's still a lot of competition. First, here was Matt House talking about corner, and in particular, He talks about, what we've heard a lot, where it was a weakness, now I think it's a strength. But listen to this and linebacker when he talks about the name specifically.
Yeah, we got great competition there. We got 4 older guys that we feel can play winning football, and then 2 younger guys that are really come on. I see that being just that, continuing competition. We're going to evaluate it again after the game Saturday. But a position that we were a little bit concerned about the depth coming in has kind of been a position that's developed into almost a strength.
Okay.
So I'm excited to see where that goes, and I love the competition that's being bred there. And those guys, I love their approach every day.
I've told you. So he said 4 older guys, 2 younger guys. It sort of validates. They are rotating 6 at cornerback, and there's a chance they could play all 6. The 4 older guys, we know who they are at this point. It's Jark Bernard-Converse, Mekhi Gardner, the ULL transfer, Sevyn Banks, the Ohio State transfer, and Colby Richardson, the McNeese State transfer. And then he mentioned the 2 younger guys. One of them is LaTerrence Welch, who we've seen a good bit of. And I would assume the other one he's talking about, although he didn't say it by name, would be Jalen Davis Robinson, number 29, who is another freshman who we've seen play a good bit as well. So 6 guys right now that they're rotating at cornerback that they feel pretty good about. And we've talked about it here. Well, I don't think any of the 6 has as high a ceiling as someone like Elias Ricks or Dwight McGlothern. You've got a ton of experience. Of the 4 older guys he mentioned, all of them are either in their 5th or 6th season of college football. You have grown-ups playing right now who are very experienced, which is going to lend itself a great advantage. Now, linebacker is the other one. And actually, they asked him more about the edge, okay, and getting pressure off the edge. This is 8, Yuso. And specifically, like, we know you've got Ali Gay and B.J. Ojolari, but specifically, when a coach isn't asked about players specifically, but a position, and he names players, that's a ding, ding, ding. Okay, those are the guys who immediately come to mind that he's thinking of playing. So when you're not asked specifically about a player, but a position, and the coach names players, that speaks volumes. This was Matt House talking about the edge positions.
Ali and BJ are doing a great job off the edge. Savion's coming along on the edge as well. Desmond's applying some competition off the edge. Quincy is getting better and better with every opportunity. And the thing about that, too, is they're doing a good job where they can play multiple alignments on the front. And that gives you great flexibility. And also, when you start getting into game week, it allows you to get the best matchups you possibly can in situational football.
Best matchups you possibly can. And a big part of that also is understanding that he didn't talk about Mason Smith. Remember, a year ago, that's a good thing, by the way. A year ago, Mason Smith was playing both inside and out of necessity. Ali Gay was lost for the season. Andre Anthony was lost for the season. And so Mason Smith was a true freshman playing both tackle and defensive end. He didn't have a true home where every game, every week, he was doing the same thing. And there was a little concern, Brian Kelly talked about it, that you might be in the same situation with Ali Gay this year where he may have to play inside and out. Well, you hear Matt House say it. Of course, he started with Ali Gay and B.J. Ojulari, but he mentioned Savion Jones. He mentioned Desmond Little. That's a guy we've seen a lot. Desmond Little, you're going to notice he changed his jersey number. He's wearing number 8 now. When Ojulari took 18, Desmond Little's wearing 8, and he's 6'5", and they got him playing that jack position. So he's a dude that you're going to see standing up on the outside, trying to get pressure. And then Quincy Wiggins is the other one that they mentioned who wears number 93. He's the true freshman, 6'5", 275. He's the all-airport team. When he gets off the bus, he looks amazing. And it kind of tells you a little bit of where, maybe some of the competition is gone. We did talk about Xavier Carter as a guy that might be battling for reps. Well, whenever the coach doesn't mention him, he's probably, you can kind of see how that rotation maybe is starting to come together a little bit. The other thing, there was a ton. A couple of more things, though, that I found interesting. 18, please, use. Whenever LSU, they go into the team periods that we've seen, like in scrimmage, every time I jot down the first defense that runs out there, it looks the same. And the base is a nickel. And it's number 3, Greg Brooks, the Arkansas transfer, playing the sort of nickel box safety role. And Sage Ryan is backing him up at the second team. But your inside backers are Mike Jones, BJ Penn. The line is what we've talked about. Jark Bernard-Converse is one corner to the wide side, and the short side is usually Mekhi Gardner or one of the other guys we've talked about that's rotated. Your safeties are Jay Ward and Major Burns. And so base has been nickel. So Matt House was asked today, is that just your base defense? Are you always just going to be in a base nickel defense?
So we match, if they come out with numerous tight ends, then we'll go to base. But the reality is most people now want to play in 11 personnel. And so, when we're in 11 personnel, we're basing out of what we call a big nickel or buffalo.
So I love that he went a little specific there. Big nickel or buffalo, but that's what you kind of see. And when we've seen, when LSU will run short yardage or goal line type situations, and they'll rotate another linebacker in, and usually it's been West Weeks who comes out onto the field as a third sort of stand-up traditional linebacker while Ojulari's still in his jack position. So we're getting to know a little bit of what the defense is going to look like, what Matt House wants it to look like. But one thing's been very obvious is that they've been very multiple, not only with their looks, but also with their personnel. And the question was posed to Matt House today, is that by design because that's how you're going to run your defense? Or is that because you're still trying to figure out your personnel?
We're intentional with our multiplicity, okay? And the more looks you can give the quarterback. And then also, kind of to the point that guys have brought up in here, with the competition, guys deserve different roles. And we want to put our football players in the best position to succeed, all right? So sometimes that means putting in different sub-packages based on situations.
That is such an NFL answer. Can you play the very beginning of that again, Muse? Just the very beginning again.
We're intentional with our multiplicity.
No.
Okay, and the more looks you can give the quarterback. And then also, kind of to the point that guys have brought up in here.
Okay, that's good. Then it went into the competition. The more we're intentional with our multiplicity, the more looks you can give a quarterback. That is an NFL answer. That is a dude who just spent the last 3 years with the Kansas City Chiefs. That is an NFL answer because the entire, if you watch the NFL on Sundays or tonight with the preseason, if you watch the NFL, that's all you see on defenses now. Sometimes dudes are like Cam Jordan sometimes is standing up on the end. Sometimes he's got his hand in the dirt. Sometimes he kicks inside. Are linebackers blitzing? Are they dropping? There's constant movement. It's always, you always hear the quarterback come to the line, identify, Mike 5-3, whatever, try to identify who the middle linebacker is so the offensive line can set. There's shifts, there's stunts. It's just, I'm not going to pretend to understand it, what they're doing. I'm not like making call, but it's just very obvious when you watch it. There is so much going on, and the intent is confuse the quarterback so he doesn't know where the pressure is coming from, who's dropping into coverage, where the passing lanes are going to be. That's the intent. And as advent of 7-on-7s, as quarterbacks become more savvy, as offenses become more complex, if you can confuse a young quarterback, awesome. And it's pretty clear that's what they're trying to do. So yes, guys deserve opportunities. You're going to be multiple to get a lot of different guys in the field. Great. But more than anything, hey, we're just trying to confuse the quarterback. And if your guys know where they're supposed to be, that's the benefit of having a very veteran defense. Mike Jones, B.J. Ojulari, Ali Gay, Jaquelin Roy now into his third year. I just mentioned your cornerbacks. The 4 older guys are either 5th or 6th year seniors. I mean, all of your defense is very old. Like, you have a veteran defense. The youngest guy among the contributors are Mason Smith, Greg Penn. And Mason Smith might be your most talented player. So yes, the multiplicity, the looks, I think you got a veteran team that can handle it. I've told you this before, and if I sound excited, I should. People ask all the time, hey, what do you feel about the team having watched them all? If there's one big takeaway, one like big gigantic takeaway, so what's the one big takeaway you've had so far? I am more bullish on LSU's defense now than I was going into camp. I thought they had some legitimate questions, but they have size, speed, depth, experience, a smart coach. I am way more bullish on this defense than I was coming in, and Matt House is a big reason why. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.